All right, welcome to The Wandering Crow. This is Cameron.
This is Mandy.
And today we are interviewing the wonderful Megals.
You didn't even say beautiful, but you kept Megals in, seriously?
There is a medicine story that tells of Crow's fascination with her own shadow. She kept looking at it, pecking at it until her shadow woke up and became alive. Then Crow's shadow ate her. Crow is dead Crow now. Join us as we attempt to look through the wandering crow's eye to find the gateway to the supernatural, to seek to know the unknowable mysteries of creation. Welcome to the Wandering Crow podcast.
I am happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm Meg. They asked me to come in, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about a first-hand live account of some of the spooky things that happen here in our beautiful state of Arizona.
Cool. So, Meg, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Cool. Yes. Well, hi. Like I said, my name is Meg. I am 28. I've been in Arizona about the past decade, and I have been highly interested in all things spooky and abnormal for pretty much about that time. My experiences started happening when I moved here. I'm a Christmas baby. I like to read, and I'm a big Renaissance fair nerd as well. That's a little about me in the Cliff Notes version.
Yay. So how old were you when you moved here?
I moved here in 2012, so I would have been 13 or 14. Okay. It was right after freshman year. Actually, 14 or 15.
Okay. So,
and we actually moved during that big monsoon that rolled in, and none of us had seen a monsoon before, so we just kept driving into that, even though it looked like the sky was crashing.
It does.
We were like, oh, what's that? Let's just go ahead and keep driving.
I'm sure it's safe.
We'll be fine. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, now we know to keep driving. Noted.
Yeah. Noted. So 12 years of experiences, and did you guys, you moved straight into Fountain Hills? Were you guys there to start with, or were you somewhere else in Arizona?
No, so initially we moved from Massachusetts for a job that my dad accepted. So we started off in Scottsdale at the cute apartment complex called the Regions. And we ended up breaking our lease because my parents found their dream house over in Fountain Hills. And that's where they've been since, although I've, of course, since moved out myself.
Okay. So what's some of your earliest, what's the first, and I guess my question is, did anything happen to you in Massachusetts, or did it all start here in Arizona?
It all started in Arizona, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, tell me your first witnessed apparition.
Okay, so I actually had two before I met Cameron. And then the scary stuff started happening after I met him, because it seems that spooky things are just attracted to this man, and that's fine. But the earliest one, so my family, a little bit of background. I grew up very strictly Catholic. My family, we went to old-fashioned churches. We had to kneel at pews and listen to the priest sing and do his hymns and such. So very old school traditional. It never sat well with me, but I didn't realize there were, I had no idea that there were things like practitioners and spiritualism and, witchcraft in some circles. So I didn't know there were alternate routes until I became exposed to it out here. And almost as soon as I started investigating, just very basic research stages, so looking up things online in books, stuff started happening to me right off the bat. And the earliest thing I remember happening was I had purchased Scott Cunningham's book on, it was called Wicca. So I had read that this was kind of the starter item to look into if you were interested in other routes and different ways of thinking. And I have always been an avid reader, and I was like, heck yeah, let's take a look. And almost as soon as I started reading that item, I had taken it out one day to go and say hi to my mom. And I had the book with me. And just kind of in the back of my mind, I was thinking about a diary I used to keep when I was way younger. And I don't know why I was thinking about it, but it was blue and I'd written in it from 6th grade and onward. And I haven't seen this thing in years now. You know, we've gone through moves, etc. And I remember I was talking to my mom and I was like, yeah, do you remember that journal that I used to have? And she's like, oh yeah, I mean, why are you thinking about that? That's so old. And I was like, right. And I kind of brushed it off. And as soon as I went back into my bedroom, the exact journal that I was thinking about was upside down on my bed and open as if I'd been reading it.
What?
And when I opened it up to the pages, it was blank pages. So that was the first kind of weird, and I was like, what? I have no idea why that happened, but that was kind of my first unusual experience, and then things started to escalate from there. But that was within the first couple of weeks of moving into that house.
That's crazy. So that was a really cool story, but I wanted to just quickly revisit something. So you lived in Massachusetts.
Yes.
I
moved around a lot. Go ahead.
How long were you in Massachusetts?
We lived right outside of Boston in one of the safest, it's been ranked consecutively as one of the safest cities to raise your children in Franklin, Massachusetts. So it's about 45 minutes south of Boston, and I was there for about 8 years.
It's pretty crazy that you were living just outside of Boston for 8 years and didn't have anything happen.
I know.
Never. Nothing happened.
You know what's funny is Cameron and I were just talking about that in our first Haunted Arizona episode. Like, how come we never hear masses of stories about ghosts that must exist on the East Coast, but you only ever...
Yeah.
I mean, that's so weird. And then the other thought that I had is, I don't live on the East Coast, and I've only visited Boston once. I sort of felt like, isn't Salem out there? Salem, Massachusetts?
It is indeed.
So I guess I sort of thought that was like the Wicca Central, and I kind of assumed that there would be more exposure to stuff like that out there.
Don't get me wrong, there certainly is, but I think for me, a factor that played into it was I was young, so we're talking grade school and earlier.
Yeah.
And in addition, there's something to be said about things not happening to you until you're willing to open your mind to it as well. And I've always had a very strong sense of willpower, and I was deeply afraid of everything when I was younger. Okay. So like ghosts freaked me out, monsters freaked me out. I was afraid of everything as a youth.
Okay.
So let's see. After moving here, what was your first creepy encounter? Inexplicable encounter. So aside from the journal, what about something that you'd be like, okay, that's paranormal?
Okay, so I'll start with the second encounter after that first one. These all started happening in very rapid succession after I started really investigating. Come to find out later, my parents' place is very much haunted, and I was always deeply uncomfortable in that bedroom. So the second kind of peculiar thing that happened to me was, I don't know how long later, but not months, so maybe weeks later, but I remember I was having this horrible nightmare that I don't remember now, but I thought something was on my roof, like hanging, not my roof, my ceiling, between
Whoa.
the cracks in the walls. And I was extremely paranoid. I was sleeping, but I wasn't quite paralyzed. And I remember waking up to somebody saying something into my ear, my name. And then something kissed me on the forehead. And I'm still convinced this happened because my forehead started tingling and being in the same place where you say you have a third eye, for example. It was that exact place. What was that?
I said, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So that place on my forehead was tingling, but it was to the point where I had thought my dad had maybe come into my room and tried to wake me up, but my door was locked. I always locked my doors, but it was so apparent to me. Something had kissed me right there, and then all of my paranoid terror had faded from the weird sensation I was being watched through the cracks in my walls. So that'll be the second thing. And I didn't get uncomfortable vibes, but I was definitely like, okay, so something happened. No one was in the room. I was kissed awake on my forehead. That definitely happened, because why else would I wake up?
Right.
And then the first thing that sort of made me uncomfortable, and this is before I started seeing, shadows and the thing that lives in my tree, which I'll get to later if we have time. But then the last thing that happened directly in that same bedroom, this has all happened in my bedroom at my parents' house. I slept with, so the way the room was laid out is I had the foot of my bed facing a gigantic sliding mirror.
Oh,
and
no.
Behind the mirror, yeah, not a great setup, never done it since. I've since been completely deterred by large mirrors that I can see in the dark.
I don't like that at all.
But,
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's rough, and even if you're nervous, you have anxiety, or even an overactive imagination, it can be a little spooky, let alone when stuff is actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
So the behind the sliding mirror was the closet where I kept my stuff, and I was a mess. I just had my stuff thrown in there. I had a pile of laundry in this instance. It was next to the head of my bed, so on my side. So it could be seen in the reflection of the mirror, and I could also just look to the right and see it next to me. So I remember I woke up, and it was the sort of awake where it wasn't kind of slowly waking up. I didn't wake to an alarm. It was still dark out. And I was just awake, like every sense on my body, all of my nerves were up. I wasn't uncomfortable yet, but I suddenly got the sensation that I was not alone. And I was young at this point still. I wasn't more than 15 or 16. I was not drinking, nothing of the sort. And then I hear this weird noise, like something is on my floor. And I was like, what the hell is that? So I sit up, and now my heart's going. And from that pile of laundry on the right, very slowly rolling towards my bed, was a bottle cap.
What?
Like it had rolled from the laundry as if, and again, it's just a standard pile of laundry. It's not in a hamper, so there's no way for anything to have dropped if I had been drinking, which at that point I was not. And it was rolling so slowly that it should have, by gravity's sake, fallen over. But no, rolled towards me and then went under the bed. And I was like, whoa. And I had no idea how to react. So what I did is I just reached down and I kind of rolled it back, and nothing happened. But then, as I laid back down, there was a small, faint, weird little shadow that was walking to the right of my bed. So it was as if something small, I could only see the very top of, it wasn't a head, it was just a shadow, but it went from the right bottom of the foot of my bed, and then I heard the closet make a noise as if it was closing or opening slightly. And I shut my eyes and pretended I heard and saw nothing, because at that point, I was completely freaked out and I had no idea what was happening.
The Hulda folk. I mean, what did you...
Yeah.
In retrospect, what do you think now, like looking back on that?
I think that my parents' house has something mischievous, but not unfriendly living there, and it's something small. So if we're talking good people, it wouldn't be a hobgoblin, because those are they're the same. They're similar to brownies. They're more helpful, but something a little mischievous that likes to have fun. So even now, I'm not sure.
Native legend of the trolls that are out here.
Cameron,
I don't know.
are you far away from the mic?
Oh yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Native American legend of trolls that are around Fountain Hills.
Oh, perhaps it was that. I don't know about those. What is that, though? What do they do?
Yeah, I thought the
They just
trolls
think
were
that they're
really big.
small, mischievous beings.
The trolls?
Yeah, the trolls.
I thought the trolls were really, really big. Like 7, 8, 9 feet tall.
No, not the Native American ones.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. Okay.
Yeah, me neither.
The ones that I was told about were basically like she held one of those little the troll dolls that have the crazy hair.
Mm-hmm.
She said it's like this but nasty.
Was that our neighbor? Who was that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We should probably not name names. Actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna bleep that out, I think.
But yeah, so they're basically like dwarves mixed with the goblins. That was my understanding of it. And they could be mischievous, or they could be like really bad. I remember she was afraid, and she said that she thought she saw one.
Oh.
But yep.
Which instance? Oh, is that at your parents' house?
Yeah.
That was down the road in the wash.
They were our childhood friends. Yeah. So she thought she saw one in the wash?
Yeah, broad daylight. She was walking home from work. Actually, no. She was talking about the night before. So it was at night. She was walking home from work, which is that fast food place that's right next to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
She cut through the desert to get back home. She said she started hearing things, and she thought she saw one of the trolls.
That's where you had your experience with that weird...
Where everything went super quiet and I was up in the tree.
And you heard the grunting, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what part of Fountain Hills, like, you don't have to give me, like... What area of Fountain Hills do your parents live in, Meg?
They lived here. They're like 2 minutes from the Walgreens. Like the Safeway.
Safeway.
So,
okay. Yeah. So they're more in the center of town.
Yes.
Okay.
More central. And they're surrounded by the big plot of land next to them is a wash. Okay. So they live in a wash. It's like the driveway slopes down.
That's it.
And the house is built in a wash.
Okay. I mean, I guess it doesn't... That's crazy. I mean, that whole area, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
so do you...
Your parents' house is far spookier.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Cameron?
So, give us a story about that. Why you think our parents' house is spooky.
Yeah.
That's an easy segue.
because everything. Oh, okay.
That doesn't count as a story.
I know. Okay. So, first of all, there was a time, and I don't remember dates at this point, but him and I started dating back in 2018, or 2017. So it was
2016, the election of the God Emperor.
Oh my God! No politics. Shut your mouth.
So this was probably no later. It was before I moved. This must have been in 2018. So we're pulling up to his house, and I'm pretty sure this happened in the same day. But it was night, of course. We'd gone over for dinner or something. And we're walking around that back part, and your guys' parents' house, as you know, also overlooks that massive wash that goes completely dark after the lights go down. Because the city we're referencing, for those listeners that don't know, is a dark sky city. So it's black. It's very hard to see. And if you're looking at a wash of Arizona, a wash refers to scrub, underbush. It goes down deep. It's wild. It's untamed nature, essentially. So we're in his backyard, or in their backyard, and it's overlooking the wash. And he was telling me a story about, I don't know if we saw it at this point, but he was telling me a story about how he saw a shadow, like a real bizarre shadow out in the wash, and there was nothing to cast a shadow. There was not really any light. It's almost as if the darkness was a little darker, and it was in the shape of like a humanoid.
Oh no, that was during the daylight, which made it weirder for me because there was no mistaking the shadow. It was a shadow that was standing next to me that looked like a full-grown man. That was like the first week we moved in there. And there were no cacti near me. There was no bushes that would have lined up to create a figure. And his head was misshapen. Kind of like the Spitfire symbol, weirdly. And that was the first shadow I had ever seen in Fountain Hills.
Okay. That was the preface to me going over to his parents the first time, because he told me that story. And then as soon as I got in there, we were eating dinner the one day. I don't remember how, again, this was 2018 at some point. And like, we're just talking, we're sitting at the table. So the layout is, the kitchen is at the back half of the house. And then this wall I'm referring to is directly across from the kitchen. So, you know, somebody is going to be sitting staring at this wall. And they have this creepy portrait of I've always hated this. It's like the portrait with the firefighter and the dog. That's
Mickey Mouse, I think.
What?
Okay.
What is creepy about Mickey Mouse? Are you serious right now?
Have you? Okay. Yes, I'm serious. Every time I've looked at that picture, it's made my skin crawl. And I know it's a cute picture, but it feels different. It feels like it's not like everything else in the house. So I'm constantly drawn to this photo. The first time, I'm sure I see an aspect of the photo moving. Like, I'm sure the head of the firefighter turned. I'm sure I saw something, but at that point, I get all anxious because I'm the one sitting and having to look at this wall with this portrait. And I'm like, I brush it off. I'm like, no, it's probably just whatever. I'm probably just nervous meeting his parents. It was one of the early times, maybe not the first time, but perhaps the second time. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then later the same night, still at the table, from the corner of my eye, I see a shadow straight up sprint. It moves. And at this point, I elbow him like, do you see that? Look at that. It's moving. And it was this small shadow. It was just going across the wall. It was as if something, like one of their dogs was walking and casting a shadow, but it was moving and there was nothing there. There was nothing there, and then the shadow faded. I was like, did you see that? He's like, no. but it was straight up running across the wall.
I've seen that before, not in that house, but I've seen that before here, actually.
It's in the house. Sorry, I got excited. I get here. I don't know.
Okay.
Wow.
So that was in our house.
You know what's funny about that is Mom has in the past complained to me about how desperately boring the house is and how she wishes she lived in a haunted house.
She lives in a haunted house. She lives in one.
Because I used to tell her about stuff that went on at the date house, and she would get jealous. Like, oh, I can't believe that. You're so lucky. And
cabinets opening up without anyone else there.
Yeah.
I think we covered that in this, actually.
Well, you know, I'm gonna
And
borrow.
that creepy room in their house.
What?
Like that guest room.
Which guest room?
The one that used to be my room.
The middle room?
That was the first room I ever started practicing in.
What's creepy about that room?
Huh?
What is creepy about that room? I don't understand.
Oh my! What is creepy? First of all, okay, talk about creepy sliding mirror being the entire wall. Number one. Number two, the bed was almost the size of a room, so
Yeah.
there was very little wiggle room.
That was weird.
Yeah, and three, I cannot even. So I have been okay. Sorry, I have been referred to. I've heard the word conduit used when describing me. So I am a empath. I feel things. It's rare I see things, but in this case, I have been. So I just go into that room, and it is, first of all, it is cold. I'm like, and they keep their house extremely cold. I keep mine around, my apartment stays around 78.
Mm-hmm.
Their house is freezing. This room specifically so. And more than that, I'd been sleeping over. This was also early on. I'd been sleeping over maybe for the first time. They're like, yeah, you could just use the guest room and Cameron will sleep in his room, which was at the end of the hall at that point.
Your old room.
Okay.
So they're like, yeah, you can use this room. And I go into that room and I just, you know how, you're drowsy, you've just had dinner, you kind of have that warm, I could probably pass out if I lay down.
Mm-hmm.
I step into that room, it vanishes. I am wide awake, I'm aware, and my skin is prickling. And I'm like, Siri, what? Okay.
That's the first space that I use to practice sigil magic and all of my different things.
Interesting.
And I didn't know that at that point.
Well,
so that's good.
I will say there was an incident when we were kids. We were hanging out with our neighbor friends from down the road, and the younger girl, started screaming about seeing shadow people. Do you remember that, Cameron?
Huh?
Do you remember that?
The younger one being
The younger girl, the middle child.
the one in the wheelchair?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Actually, I kind of do.
We.
But that was she at our house?
Yeah. Light as a feather, stiff
Oh.
as a board. We were upstairs playing, and I always chalked it up to she was just jealous, and we weren't very nice. We were not very considerate of her condition. We basically left her downstairs because we were dumbass mean kids, and we left this poor girl downstairs to fend for herself and entertain herself while we were upstairs playing light as a feather, stiff as a board. And then all of a sudden she started screaming about seeing shadow people all over the house. And we had to leave because she was so upset. We had to leave. And
Your parents' house is full of shadow people.
I mean, maybe she wasn't making it up.
No,
I know her
because-
sister thought she was serious. The older sister really believed it. I didn't. But
you're probably biased because you grew up there, but that house is spooky.
Honestly, at the time, I probably wouldn't have believed it either, even though I had seen that thing outside. It was pretty rare to see them just on the fly.
The first year I started attending his parents' house and your guys' parents' house, I saw more things than I didn't see things when I went over.
Interesting.
And I just went over recently.
Our first time hanging out was great.
Oh, well, that was the scariest paranormal encounter of my life to date. But like, we just went over recently, and immediately he made me feel bad. But there's these dolls that sit now in the chair, and I've heard it was crafted by your grandma. So beautiful dolls that I'm sure they were made with love.
Wait, the Raggedy Andy dolls or the weird porcelain dolls with the funny dresses, the crochet dresses?
Raggedy Andy cat dolls.
Oh. Those were probably...
The white, the red, and they had like the green eyes. They were all crocheted together or knit, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, those, so when I walked in, I'd never seen those before, and they have them sitting in a chair right next to the back sliding doors. And as you both know, if it's similar for you, whenever I am in an encounter or I have an awareness of there's something here that's not quite supposed to be here, I have a feeling of intense awareness that's not quite flight or fight, but it is, I am aware, I'm ready to move if necessary, and I am not the only predator in the room. That is kind of the feeling I get. So I get into the kitchen, and this was just 2 weeks ago, and immediately my eyes go to these dolls, and that sense of awareness just floods through me, and even when I look away, I can see them out of the corner of my eye, and it feels as if they're watching me. I haven't seen anything else happen to them yet, but that feeling of awareness always happens when I look at those dolls.
Okay. I mean, there was one time I was... How old was I? I think I was still a teenager. I was on the phone with a friend of mine, and while we were talking, I got a text message, which supposedly was from her, and it said, "I miss talking you." And it was so weird because I felt like I had been being watched from outside while I was talking to her, and I told her, I said, I feel like I'm being watched. And then all of a sudden I get this text message, and this was old technology. It was an old flip phone, and you weren't able to send texts and also be talking to people at the same time. Like, that required way too much data. Like, that wasn't a thing. I don't know if Cameron, you remember that, but
I do.
So this text message,
Dragging on the phone and hitting all those buttons without somebody noticing.
I know, right? So she supposedly sent me this text message. I miss talking you, and it was all misspelled and weird. And I used to have, just so you know, an imaginary friend that I kept around until I was pretty old, like 15, 16. And I wondered if that was it, because I was like, dude, I just got this text message from you. And she goes, no, you didn't. I didn't text you. We're talking on the phone. Why would I text you?
Oh my gosh.
I was like, well, I don't know, but it says it's from you. And she goes, well, what does it say? And I said, it says, I miss talking you. She goes, what the hell is that? I said, I don't know. She goes, Amanda, I think this is an EVP kind of thing. I was like, I don't know. But that's it. That's as much. So, like, hearing you talk about how eerie our house is, There was only ever those 2 experiences for me in the... Well, actually... Well, shit, Meg. Now you've got me remembering some other stuff.
I'm telling you, you said, oh yeah, nothing happens. I was like, that's not physically possible. There's so much energy at your parents' house. What else happened? What else do you remember?
I remember we had just moved there maybe a year or 2 before. So I would have been in, like, I think I was in 9th grade at that point. I was a freshman. And I was drowsing in my room, and I have this pillow that my grandmother made that I've had since I was a baby, and I don't know, I just enjoy having it. So it was on my chest, I was laying on my back, and the lights were on. It was early evening, so like 6 or 7 at night, and I had sort of dozed off. And I came to, and the light was on still, and I realized that I was rolling over, and I was right teetering on the edge of the bed, and I was already like too late, like I was past the point of no return, and I thought, oh shit, I'm gonna fall and hit the ground now. And then I passed out again, and I had the weird sensation too that I was high off the bed and rolling, and I'm gonna hit the ground, I'm gonna hit the edge of my nightstand, and I'm gonna hit my head. This is gonna really hurt. And then passed out again. And then the next morning I woke up and I was fine. I was in the bed and the pillow was on the ground. But like, I distinctly remember, like, the thing was on my chest, and I distinctly remember that I was rolling and the pillow fell off, but I didn't roll with it. And I remember telling one of my best friends at the time about it, and she goes, you just had a weird dream. You definitely didn't, like, I was like, I think, like, did aliens come get me? Like, what was that? And she goes, nothing. It was just a dream. Nothing happened to you. And I never talked about it again, but I've never forgotten that, because it was really distinct.
This was something made that you said the pillow was made by... Is this the same grandmother that made the...
Oh, yeah.
Doll I was referring to?
We don't have a relationship with the other grandmother.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, especially if you had the sensation of falling and then the pillow fell. Like, I'm wondering if you were somehow feeling something attached to the pillow. Because now that's 2 items your grandma has made that have a weird awareness to them.
But she was still alive and well when that happened.
Yeah, she was alive. She was still alive. She only just died, like, last year, I think. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I heard about that. But I mean, the living doesn't necessarily mean that she attached anything, but what do you guys know about, for example, her house? Because that's presumably where she made them. Like, or if she had any experiences at her home, because things get connected to objects.
I mean, she always made stuff her whole entire life. So that pillow was made in Florida. And then later, some of those dolls were made in Florida. Some of those dolls were made in Tennessee. Like, I really don't think so. I don't think it had anything to do with her. And I still have that pillow to this day. It's still here in this house with me. And some of the dolls. I still have some of the dolls. We just recently retrieved them from storage.
That the beautiful pictures you just sent that almost gave me a heart attack?
Did you see that?
Yeah, this messages connected to the screen we're on. Ugh. Ew.
That is the creepiest Raggedy Andy doll doll I've ever seen in my life. We should put that in the show notes.
Is that something you own, or is that something? Did you look up creepy doll online?
No, I just looked at Raggedy Andy cat doll because I'd never seen a cat doll before, and I was like, "What is she talking about?" And then this came up,
that.
and I was like, "This is perfect."
Yeah. Nope. I wish.
If you saw it again, you would instantly know what I was talking about.
I think it must be Abby. I think Abby had one that was a cat-shaped. It was like an amigurumi type of cat-shaped doll.
Yeah, it's just a white knit doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's saying cat. It didn't look like a cat. It was if there was anything cat. It was a humanoid with cat ears. Like it's not a cat doll.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I mean, I guess it's hard because I grew up with it, and it doesn't like the one that I sent you is just an internet picture, and I'll put that in the show notes because it's glorious. That's the creepiest.
Yeah, that was
so the
glorious. Is not a word I use.
The joke
horrendous. But thank you.
We're the
hey,
kind.
Do you remember that Jack in the Box?
You say, do I remember that Jack in the Box? Like you still don't have this thing here at the house, which again has a deadline to be gone before your move.
3 feet from you.
That's not going to be existing in my house.
That's the one that you got from your whole store thing?
Yeah, this is something that I got from my store. I said, oh, this has like really creepy vibes to it. I found it at Goodwill. Took it home, did some research. It's from World War II era.
Ooh.
Germany.
Cool. Oh.
Could you describe what it looks like? Just.
Well, it's a Jack in the Box, so it's a clown.
Yeah.
And
that's awful.
It doesn't have a hand crank. It's one of the old school Jack in the Boxes where you just pop the latch and it pops out.
Oh.
And each side has a different clown picture on it. And it's missing like one of its hair, like you know how they kind of jut out in clowns. Yeah. One of those is missing. And on the inside, underneath the silk lining, you can see some French newspaper articles.
Oh, that's cool.
Like they just use that for padding, I guess, to help support the wood or something. Mm-hmm. And we took it home and instantly.
It became literally haunted. Literally.
It became part of the family.
No, literally, it didn't become part of the family. No. That's when we started hearing the little pitter patters and the shadows under the doors. It all started after we took that thing home.
Interesting.
And by we, I mean him, because I would never bring such an item into my abode. But he's insane. Well,
I guess, talking about this, Cameron and I have a different threshold for weird, I guess.
Is that saying that would not be weird for you, or that would be too much for you?
I mean, I don't like clowns. Period. End of story. So that's the deal breaker.
Which is the great part.
But the attached things with it, that doesn't bother me very much. I think I'd probably just banish them. I don't know. It's got a clown. No, I don't want something with clowns on it. No, thank you.
Mandy, you say you don't mind the attached things, but why would someone go through the effort? Again, this thing is he's describing like, oh yeah, it's a box of some newspaper. It is a worn, faded, and chipped, the size smaller than the size of your palm. It is cracked. And it has faded cutouts of newspaper articles. Do not take that out. No. I will leave. I will literally leave. No. And it's picture 1940s Civil War survived whatever. One of the wars, like it looks war torn. It looks like it's been through. Can you put that back? I don't know. Thank you. And it has somebody went through the effort of cutting out newspaper articles from the 40s and taping it inside of the clown box. Why?
I will say too, It has beautiful dovetail finishings like joints on the wood.
Ooh,
and
nice.
It's very beautifully lacquered, and it's got some nice prints that actually have been surviving pretty well this test of time.
That's kind of cool.
Which again, is not great in and of itself. It should not be as colorful as it still is.
But it is. It is as colorful as it is. And I took it to work one time, and that, like, the shit followed me to work.
Did it really?
It was great.
Wow.
This thing caused and I'm convinced it was when this came home, because that was also the second craziest paranormal encounter I had was after we brought this thing home. So we had 2 cats at that point, Panini and Fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a 2-bedroom apartment. The second bedroom served as sort of the media room. So I had my laptop, and he hung all of his creepy portraits up on the walls above my desk. And I had an L-shaped desk that maybe came out a foot from the wall, in an L shape. So I had my setup near the window. We hung some gourds because there was a window right there, and gourds intercept bad energy, bad spirits, whatever you want to call it. So we hung up some gourds because stuff had already been a little weird. And we have some pictures of his clowns on the wall because, that's his taste in art. And I won't comment on it. But what?
Those were the French, artsy,
Oh.
paintings.
The ethos
Yeah,
and yeah.
And we had in this room as well the litter box, the second litter box, because we were tight on space and we had 2 cats. So, long story short, our second cat, Fluffy, needed to be on some meds. Now, Cameron can attest to this, I have no chill. I'm hyper vigilant. I get very anxious and I do things correctly. So, your cat can absolutely not eat more than 1 of these a day. That thing is staying tightly sealed in the pill bottle, the twist-off pill bottle that you have to put energy, pressure on to open, inside of the wrap paper bag. There's no way that cat's getting to it. That being said, I wake up every day and I feed him the pill. That pill goes back in its pill box in the bag on the top shelf of the closet in there, right? So to preface the actual event, 2 things happened in this room prior to the penultimate finale. So first of all, our dog Bubba, she only responds to us at this point. We just adopted her. And when somebody talks to her, she sits up straight, her ears perk, and her tail gives a little wag. And that dog is obsessed with me. So anytime I'm in the vicinity, she's right by me. If she hears my voice, she comes to me, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't find my dog. I wake up, she doesn't come to greet me. And I'm like, Bubba, where are you? Nothing. So I go, I'm looking, it's a small apartment. I open up the room I'm referring to with the cat. And the door had been cracked. We'd left it open at this point. This was before he started his meds. And she was sitting, staring at the wall, up on the wall, 7, 8 feet up in the air. Her head was angled.
Think of Poltergeist with the little girl, or the dog staring at the wall that had the mark in it.
Yeah.
Up. Her eyes are fixated, not quite at where the wall meets the ceiling, but close. Her tail is wagging a little bit, her ears are perked, and her head is cocked, as if something is talking to her, and I cannot break her attention. She won't look at me, she won't come to me, and she won't talk to me until I start clapping, and then she breaks, and she looks back one more time, and then follows me up. Ugh, my skin's crawling.
Whoa.
So that was the first thing. Number 2, this happened almost consecutively, by the way, and this all happened after we brought home this thing. Number 2, I was gaming. I was playing World of Warcraft, and I hear this weird, crackling sound, and it's one of the gourds. The gourd is cracked. I'm like, what? And I don't see anything.
A really cool gourd, too, that looked like a crown, and it just shattered.
It shattered.
What?
The gourd shattered, and almost in the same, I don't remember remember if it's the same exact day, but as I'm sitting there, I get uncomfortable, and then flinging from the wall is one of his portraits. It doesn't hit me, but it doesn't fall, because if it had fallen, and it wasn't the bottom or the top one, it was one that was weirdly in the middle. It just falls. But had it fallen normally, it would have been caught by my L-shaped desk. But no, it flings down, it misses me, but it flings far enough from the wall that it doesn't clip my desk. And I was, I'm out skate. I'm not getting shit thrown at me. I'm good. Thank you. So that was the second weird thing that happened. And then the last thing that happened, I wake up now. So recall that my cat needs meds. Wake up to give him his antibiotics.
Okay.
The bag is not at the top of the closet. When the cat's in there, he's fine. Litter box is good. I'm like, where the hell? What the bag? And I was like, did you take his medicine? And he's like, no.
Yeah, I leave that to her completely because she has a routine and it gets done. It's safe. You don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I take care of my medicine.
Yeah.
My cat's medicine. So I'm like, where the hell? I didn't touch it. He didn't touch it, and it's at the top of my closet, right? So I find the bag on my L-shaped desk, and it's tipped over, and I'm like, what? Okay. No, this is not supposed to be here. And it's still closed. It's still rolled up, and I didn't have like a rubber band. It was just rolled up. It was just a standard like lunch bag.
Mm-hmm.
I open it. The pill bottle's not in there, but the bag's still rolled, right? So I'm like, okay, wait. And then I look at the ground, and I see a white pill. My cat's white pill just open on the ground, and I'm like, what? And so now I'm like, oh shit, did he like eat? What? How did this? My brain's not processing yet, but now I'm just like, okay, are there more on the ground? And there were. He had 3 left, so I find all 3. So luckily he didn't eat any. But then I'm like, okay, so I have the bag, I have the pills. Where the hell is the pill bottle? And I find the pill bottle behind his litter box, still closed. Like, and this is the medicine cap. So think when you get prescribed medicine, it's that orange bottle with the white glass, but it's empty inside. The pills were on the floor.
What?
The bottle's still closed behind his litter box, and the paper bag was on the L-shaped desk, still rolled up.
That's really, really, really bizarre. That is an excellent story. How else do you explain that?
Verify.
Yeah.
What was that?
How do you explain something like that? What?
She brought it back because she didn't believe me. She's like, no, this was closed. Somebody messed with this.
Yeah, I was like, Cameron, you're messing with me. Like, this is, the pills are all over the floor, and I was pissed. I was like, this could have killed our cat.
Yeah.
Like,
I was on the couch just playing video games. I was like, I haven't moved anywhere except for the bed to here.
It's all freaking scattered.
Dude. Did that continue? Like, did you have more issues with this thing? I assume this was in Flagstaff.
Yeah, this was in Flagstaff, and yeah, and it wasn't us that experienced it this time. It was my friend. Let's call him. What are we gonna call? Let's call him Ted. My friend Ted came up and visited. The only person who came up and visited us while we lived in Flagstaff, and he's like a cute little gay guy. He's really excited to come up and stay up. He brought his gaming setup, and we gamed for a few hours. And then I set him up in the room that I'm talking about at this point. Because at this point, we burned our sage, we done the cleansing. We just still didn't really know if this Jack in the Box was the issue.
Right.
You know, which it was. So he's like, he comes back out. He's like, Meg, what's with the gourds? And I was like, don't worry about it. And he's laughing. He's like, no, what's with the gourds? And I was like, just trust me, you want them there. And then, so he's like, no, I don't want the gourds there. I'm like, okay, fine. So we set up the bed. We set up it was a pull-away couch. And we take down the gourds. And then thrice he wakes us up in the night because he's like, were you guys trying to wake me up? I'm like, no, we're done asleep. And he's like, what? I'm hearing noises. I'm hearing bangs. I feel like I'm getting watched from that closet, and I feel like every time I wake up, the closet's cracked. I'm like, do you want the gourds? And he's like, fine, I'll take the gourds. And I also put I have a effigy of the guardian bast, and I also put that by him too, along with the gourds. And the gourds cracked again when we woke up, so we had to get more gourds.
Oh my god.
Oh, Cameron said that's not all.
So I had Freemasonry artifacts that I just collected and used as decoration. A used sash that they have, like one of their special sashes. I had some sconces that were holding it up, and there was also some cups, like silver cups that were used in some of their rituals, and one of their mini what's it called? It's this spatula thing for masonry. I had those all set up, and after we set up all the protection stuff, those were all knocked down.
Really?
Yep.
And guess what was stored in the same closet? Guess what was in the same closet as all of the teacups and the silverware?
Well, I'm guessing it was the Jack-in-the-Box, but...
It was indeed. It certainly was the Jack-in-the-Box. Yep.
Cameron has... I mean, you and Meg haven't lived together for a little while. I mean, and I assume you kept the Jack-in-the-Box. Has activity followed you where you've been, Cameron? I mean, can we really say it's the Jack-in-the-Box, or is it possible it was something else?
He's taking a sip of tea.
Yeah, so I found the trick is you don't touch it.
Ah.
You don't touch it, and you just set it somewhere and leave it be, and nothing seems to happen.
I will say to that, though, stuff seems to happen more often when we're together. And I was touching briefly, I've been referred to as a conduit before.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just... so... That is referring to I'm more sensitive to the energies of things, and this even manifests physically as I'm very susceptible to when there's a thunderstorm. My hair always, on my arms, always stands up, and I also don't wrinkle. So I just have too much moisturizer. It's something like hydration. It's something, but there's a physical component to it too, as well as this being able to feel things. So I have to say my most intense experiences have happened when we're together, because I've started visiting his place, and I've already had stuff happen to me here, and he says he's been missing things and he hasn't seen anything, but stuff has already started happening here. We've been giggled at.
I started my night terrors shortly after we started hanging out again.
Really?
Yeah, something about our conjoined energy.
Huh.
That started from the very get-go, right when we first started dating. We both had the most intense, we got literally stalked and hunted by an apparition.
Yeah, I was really hoping to get back to that story. So something about being chased by an entity. Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is at a point where, so this would have also been the first year we started dating. So maybe early 2017, we were working at Streets of New York, the pizza place. And we decided he has always liked spooky stuff. And I was like, I want absolutely nothing to do with spooky stuff. I believe there's stuff happening in the world around us. I'm not poking the tiger. So I have high anxiety. I don't like to go at night, and I don't like spooky stuff. I don't like ghost stories at this point, whatever. So he's like, let's just go take a drive to somewhere that is spooky. And I was like, fine, we're fine. And you know what? The reason I remember wanting to go, I was like, I've had these times where my gut instinct is telling me that something's not right. So I wanted to go ahead and give it a try. Remember, I was like, I wanted to see like what happens physically to me when I'm in a place that clearly we should not be in.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to this. Can you describe? I forget what the location was. Can you describe what that was like?
So it's right next to a dog park. It's not really terrible on its own during the daytime, but you go there at night and there are street lights. They just don't seem to produce as much light.
The lights get eaten on this road.
It's almost like the darkness is eating the light.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't project as far. The lumens go away. It's just very bizarre. And I noticed it first when I was driving by there with my headlights. And I never really got out and walked around during that nighttime, but I figured this would be fun. So
it'll be fun. Let's go get ourselves killed.
Actually,
So we
you
went.
know, wait a minute. You know, to that point, Meg, I actually want to know, what are the crossroads for any listener who might themselves want to take this kind of...
We destroyed it.
It's gone. It left once it chased us off the property.
Oh no, that's not what I mean. The building has been destroyed.
The building was also demolished since
Oh.
Yeah, somebody bought out the land, demolished it, and has since not built anything there since.
But what are the crossroads?
So it's what is that? Tower Road and like
You have to take a right onto Saguaro, and then it's a right onto the dark, creepy road.
yeah. Well, what's the dark creepy road?
So this is in
So-
Fountain Hills?
Yeah, it's in Fountains.
Oh, is it by the old dog park in Fountain Hills? I know where that is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's like a car shop. You take a right there,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's all the way down until the road forces you to turn left, and it turns into another street.
Yeah, okay.
And that goes down the other side of the dog parks.
Right. Okay, I know where that is. That's really close to... I feel like that's really close to
Right
the edge of the
away.
reservation, too.
Yeah, by the way, listeners, this is another thing that's wash adjacent.
Yeah, wash adjacent.
Yep. So we popped in, it's like a cool place, whatever. So immediately we're in the car, and as soon as I see that, I just know what street he's about to turn onto. And I was like, is there a reason that street is not illuminated by the street lamps that are clearly on? So by what we mean by like impenetrable darkness, the street lamps were on, but it was like they were not casting any light. You could like see that, so like see like a light in the darkness. You could see that the light was on, but it was not dispelling. It was so bizarre. So of course we turn down the street, and immediately I'm on edge. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is okay, whatever. So we pull up into this parking lot. This place is a mess. It's like, so the layout, we have the parking lot at the front. The building is to the right. The way you enter is slightly to the left, and it's overgrown at this point. There's some like leaves coming through, some branches, and then directly to the left, still on the property, maybe 200 feet, is this weird, what was it, like an outhouse? Like, what was that little shack? It was either
A maintenance shed. Yeah, there's a maintenance shed because it had this was an old urgent care building.
Oh,
that had been
right.
turned into a church, that then was turned into a dentistry, that was then turned into a church again.
morgue.
I think maybe at some point, but it had 2 helicopter pads on the top, and it had a maintenance shed on the side. Probably had some like power generators or something. And we got out. We were walking, and to the front door, you have to go between the building and these maintenance sheds. So I'll let you.
So we're trying to go to this front door, which is located, like, if we're looking at the head-on of the building, it's to the left. So it's almost like the front building door and the maintenance shed door are, like, facing each other, to give you an idea of what it looks like geographically. So we're passing the maintenance shed, and at the same time, simultaneously, I hear giggling, and he hears scratching from our left, from the maintenance shed. And it was
Oh,
so,
no.
it was as if there was like, for me, it was like there was a toddler right on the other edge, like the other side of the little fence around the maintenance shed. And for him, it was just scratching. So we both hear something.
I've definitely heard like something was in there. And here's the other weird part, though, is I started getting like mental images of something jumping out in front of me. Like,
Oh
all of
no.
my alarms were going off. I felt like if we got any further, we were walking into a trap. But her, on the other hand, here's the weirdest part. She was pressing us to keep going.
Yeah,
Really?
it was. For no reason. I just was like, no, I really want to go inside. And that's me. I hate ghosts. I don't like spooky things. But I was like, I had this weird draw to go into the building. Like, I wanted to. But we had now, once we heard that, like, he's saying he had the image of something jumping out. I didn't have that. But we stopped at the same millisecond right before we stepped into that place. It was like we had both hit an invisible wall at the same time. We didn't, but we just both felt the urge to freeze at the same time.
Yeah, like if we go any further, we might be in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at that point, my interest had just faded, and I was like, okay, nope, now we're good. So we kind of hustle back out. We don't run, but we get back out to the car, and like we start to drive away, and just as we were pulling out, oh no.
Yeah, so we left and kind of cruised around a little bit, and like I was weary of the fact that she was like really curious and wanted to go back in. We were kind of talking about our own experiences to that point, and then she's like, "Well, let's just circle back." It's like, "All right, but we're not getting out. We'll just take one last look from the street."
That's
and
right.
We drove through the parking lot. We got real close to the building, and I rolled up the windows, forgetting that the moon roof was open. And so once we rolled real close, I was more distracted about the moon roof and slowly pulling out of there than actually looking at the building. And this is what he saw.
Yeah, and he even commented, I went like bone white because as we were pulling out, for some reason, I looked back over my shoulder and from the maintenance shed, I see my first full-bodied apparition. And it's from the spot. Oh my god. I'm getting nauseous recalling this. Like, it was from the spot that we both heard I heard laughing, he heard scratching. And the figure, it was a little bit taller than a person. It was black, but I could clearly see it was almost like the head was shaped like hooded, and it was to the side. So as if it was standing like I could see the silhouette. And what I distinctly remember, the head and the shoulders was like solid. It looked like almost a man, as if he was in a hood, and it was black. And he was moving his shoulders like he was walking really slowly from the maintenance shed to the building that we were going to go into. But looking down further, there was no movement. It was like, imagine a person with a cloak just drifting, but his shoulders were moving. And then there was nothing to, it was so, and I was like, oh my gosh, drive. I was like, oh no. And then like my anxiety just spiked to this point. He made a comment that I went like white as a sheet because I was like, oh my gosh, I did not want to see this right now. And so we're pulling out, and we both have the feeling that we're getting followed. And then I could swear, as I would kind of glance at the back mirror in the car. What's that mirror called?
The
front.
The rear view mirror.
The rear view mirror, and like I would glance up, and I could swear I could see a shadow like flat on the road drifting behind us. Like the whole time.
Here's the other part, though, is that we stopped at 3 different locations, and each time we stopped there, we heard an owl.
Oh.
And those aren't really typical. Like, you don't.
I've never heard an owl in my life until this too.
Yeah, so 3 different locations. We stopped, we heard an owl. So finally I was like, let's just go back to my place and hang out a little bit till this dies down.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to bring this thing that's clearly following us, because I have the sensation we're literally being stalked right now. And I was like, I'm not bringing whatever this is he likes spooky stuff, so let's go to his place and it can linger, he can do whatever he wants with it. So we pull in, and like, we get into his house, and we go into his room. He was renting a room from his friends at this point. So we go into his room, and his room is right on the outside of the house. So there's a window that leads to the road. Like, you can see outside, roadside. And then he also has this vent in his room. It's like right above and to the right of his door. And so, like, as we get in, we did have the window cracked open. We get into his room, and then suddenly, society does stop. Like, the bugs stop, everything stops, and there's this looming sense of horror that, like, something is coming. So I remember he wrapped us in he has a blanket that's covered in sigils. It's like a sun and a moon, and there's some sigils and something. So he wraps us in that, and I swear, through that vent, I hear the lowest and most like the tenor of it was so low, you feel it in your bones. And I have to say, it was a growl, but it wasn't quite. It was like this weird rumble. Oh my gosh! And
you were pretty panicked at this point. So I was attending the window. I heard what sounded like somebody walking up to the door, but didn't see anyone. And it's a straight shot. There's no other way that they could be coming from.
Oh my god.
I clearly heard somebody walking up, and like, there was nobody there. And I heard kind of like almost a javelina, but again, nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so as soon as we stop, I'm petrified at this point. We're back under the blanket, and then once that passes, I was petrified. He was loving it. But as soon as that growl passes, suddenly the air lightens and the cicadas start going again. Oh, yeah, that was horrifying. And then when I got home, he finally dropped me off. Directly across from my parents' house on the roof was a gigantic owl, and it was just staring at my house.
Really?
Like, the owls were following us all night, and I think it was up until several days after that, every time we went out, we would see an owl, like a gigantic, it wasn't like a little, like a huge, like a barn owl sized owl. Like, there was that weird little church in the wash area. We saw one. I saw one outside of, on the roof across from my parents' house. And then we saw another one. It was like they were following and keeping an eye. And there's a lot of lore about owls being gatekeepers to the other side and being around when there's changes to the veil.
It depends.
That was the most horrifying, a full body apparition. I imagine that's not seen often. And that, oh my gosh, it was horrifying.
There was one other in Flagstaff. Yeah.
Did you see?
Yeah. Oh, this is the one that we both saw. When we were looking at the Christmas lights down Mead Road.
Oh my gosh, that wasn't an apparition. That was,
Wait.
So,
for listeners, I looked it up on the map. The wash is called Colony Wash. This is in Fountain Hills. It's Saguaro Boulevard, and Meg called it. It is Tower Drive, but it also it's like almost like a big square. So Tower Drive turns into Tioga Drive, turns into North Desert Vista. So it's in that kind of area, and the dog park is Desert Vista Dog Park. So if you want to try your luck with the spirits, which I don't recommend, that's the location we've been talking about. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you'll have to go closer to the wash, though.
Yeah, in Tioga. The road is Tioga. that
That's
is
the one.
parallel to the wash.
It definitely feels different now that that building's gone, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
So this other story, years later, we're jumping ahead quite a bit here, but we're looking around at these Christmas lights because I mean it was going on the whole year, and it just felt like the spirit of Christmas is kind of fading, and we're just trying to look for that nostalgic feeling of going around looking at Christmas lights.
Yeah.
So we're driving around. We found pretty good spots, but she heard of this one called Mead Road. And so we decided to go to specifically Mead Road to look at all these Christmas lights. Sure enough, there's lights everywhere. It's really nice. But the further down you go, it's no longer a paved road.
But it's really tight. Like
It's really tight. And it's just, you're going downhill with no asphalt. And the road looks like it used to have running water on it. Like, you're basically driving down a wash.
Yeah, chain link fences. Like
Yeah. There's chain link fences on both sides, so you can't turn around. There's no way to turn around.
That sucks.
You have to finish the drive and then circle back.
it's not straight.
Yeah, it curves and it goes downhill, and it's just like kind of like, okay, well, good thing this looks like a good neighborhood type of situation.
Yeah.
So we're driving down, and I start to notice a little bit of the headlight thing going on. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah, the headlights started to die out.
Oh, okay.
And we noticed
Yeah.
we noticed that the Christmas lights were a little bit less, but they were still around. We're still continuing, and then all of a sudden, I see a figure in all black that looks like they've got like a bone mask on, but it looks like an old woman. And she takes her hand, it's got like this bony long nail, and she slowly raises it up from her side and then points it to where we're about to go.
Yep. And I was like, there's no way we're both seeing this at the same time. It was such a classic looking gross thing. Like imagine the evil witch from Snow White.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being like old school, and I was like, this isn't happening. We're not really.
Here's the best part is it goes into a turn, right? So Meg's about to be face to face with this thing.
I was like, oh, please be a mailbox.
And
Please
so
don't be a triple.
I immediately think, what the fuck can I do? Can I back up? No, I can't. Well, I started to slow down, and the car started to slide. So I'm like, all right, Meg, I have to continue.
We could
And
be 6 inches from this thing if we make this turn, like 6 inches, like from the passenger, and we were seeing the same exact thing simultaneously at the same time. And then
probably about when we got 3 feet from it, it faded.
And it turned into a mailbox.
Yeah, there was just a mailbox.
It was a mailbox. But
We saw it move. It was a person, and then it's like the person faded and a mailbox was behind it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun.
And he said because he wasn't gonna be an inch, like the passenger, like her nose touched my passenger seat window. Had she not turned into a mailbox?
She could have tapped on the glass and asked us for directions.
Yeah, like it was that close, and we had no way to turn. Oh my gosh! And we both saw the same exact thing, and we were both like, as we were pulling up to it, like, what do? We can't turn around. Like the realization.
There was time for us to talk.
There was time for us to talk, and it was like, okay, so we're both seeing this lady right now, right? Like, what? Well, we're not stopping, but we can't move back, so we have to. And she moves, like we see her move, because I think at first it was just a weird looking mailbox, and we were pulling up, and we're like, that is not a mailbox. That is not a mailbox.
Holy crap.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah, my skin is crawling recounting.
And how about these days, Meg? Has anything like in the last few months happened?
Yeah, yes. So, the stuff at the parents' house with the crochet doll, that happened.
Oh, that was
Where,
recently. I didn't realize that.
Like within the past couple of weeks.
Oh.
Uh,
I can't hear you, Cameron. What?
I said, how about stuff when we weren't together?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I don't recall anything directly happening, but it's always been the case where as soon as we're together, I start seeing a lot of stuff simultaneously. So like, yeah, I can't remember anything that happened, but I was also going through a really bad period of mental health, and I had long blackouts during that year, so I don't remember all of it.
Okay.
But I don't directly remember anything happening at that point. It's always been when I'm around him, and apparently it's vice versa.
Okay. So I guess I ask a little bit because I wonder there are some techniques that I could teach if you're interested to help create energetic boundary. And there's something called energy.
Not interested.
I know you're not interested, Cameron. I didn't even bother asking you. This is for Meg. I know you want to be open.
Techniques.
Huh?
I'm always happy to learn techniques. I don't want anything spooky sneaking up since we're going to be living together
Yeah.
again. So I imagine we're going to be having a lot of stories for you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I'm willing to teach you. It's called energy hygiene. I'm willing to teach you some energy hygiene and some energy boundaries so you feel a little bit safer. But if he's actively inviting shit in, I mean, you're still going to see stuff, but at least you won't necessarily be impacted.
And I haven't been actively inviting it in for quite some time now. It's
Okay.
just, now it's more so natural. But for her sake, I haven't been doing it.
Which I appreciate. Oh, yeah, and we heard giggling from his fridge recently in the past few months, too.
What?
And it was when I was in his room, and he said he'd never heard giggling, and then suddenly we both hear directly it was like somebody was standing next to us and just burst out giggling, and I was like, I'm sorry. What? Yeah.
I did hear that, actually.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What? No. Not doing this.
Dude. It's kind of like, Meg, you're the flashlight and you're ready, but you don't have the energy, and Cameron is the battery. So when the two of you together, it just like illuminates all this stuff. That's weird.
It really seems like it, and that makes sense. There's something, so I've referred to myself as a conduit. There is an opposing piece to that too. I don't know what it's called, but it's like the conduit energy is amplified by something. So your flashlight metaphor is very similar to what I was looking up online about conduits.
Yeah. I do. I wonder if there's something that sort of... So the giggling makes me think of the Huldafolk again. And I wonder, especially since you had that account of the little thing in your bedroom when you were a teenager, I wonder if you always have something following you and you don't see it necessarily until Cameron's there to bolster the energy for it to be seen.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I actually did have my own experience, like, sorry. I'm sorry if I'm breaking anybody's eardrums. When I get passionate, my voice goes up. So recently at my own apartment I currently live at, I have also had a thing with trees, like pleasant things. Like, I feel I can connect with them really well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can sense when the wind's about to make the leaves rustle, and I've always been convinced that I've had a friend in the tree. And this was true at both my parents' house, where I was really connected to the tree that was outside.
Yeah.
And here, and both instances of me actually seeing something manifest from the tree happened as I made the decision to leave the property, as if I was getting bidden goodbye by my friend in the tree.
Aww.
And the first time that happened was when I was moving out to move in with him in Flagstaff, and I swear I saw a good person, like a good folk. I don't know how to politely refer to them, but it was small to the point I thought a leaf had broken off and was just fluttering down.
Uh-huh.
But as I was looking at it, it was going back up, it was going to the side. It wasn't a bug. And as I was looking, I saw the most beautiful, like, it was a woman-shaped thing. It wasn't a leaf, but it was the color of the leaf. And just, I remember she had a beautiful dress. Like, I just remember, and I was like, and you know, when stuff happens, you're just stunned. Like, I'm not seeing this right now. Like, am I seeing this? And I did. And I just stared, and I watched her do this little dance until the tree fell. And then when I woke up the morning of my move, I had the image. I was like, I really want to take something of this tree with me. And then that morning, I go out on my patio and I look down to where I remember her leaf, like the leaf falling.
Yeah.
And there's this beautiful branch that I had seen in my mind that I wanted to take something with me. I wanted something in it's like a wand, like something that was wand shaped to take with me. And that was exactly what was on the ground. And then, so I took that and I've had it with me since. It's like it's the shape of a wand. It's from the old wood of that tree. And I've been back since, and I've not had the same feeling of having a friend in the tree at my parents' house.
All right. Well, this has been a fantastic episode. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming, Megals.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for having me.
you're welcome.
All
right. Okay, Cameron, you want to close it out with me?
Huh?
You want to close it out with me?
Oh. Yeah, I still don't know what our outro is.
I don't.
But
This has been another episode of
The
The
Wandering
Wandering
Crow.
All right.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.
You too. Bye, everybody.